What's going on? It's the RapNerd, and I'm here today to talk about a Valentine's Day slasher that hit theaters over the weekend called Heart Eyes. Now, I saw this movie last night with my wife, but it was a late night showing, so we didn't get out of the theater until 12. By the time we got home, I was just too tired to do a review, but knowing I was going to be out doing errands for Super Bowl Sunday, I figured I would get to it when I have some time, and here we are to talk about the movie. And I'm going to start by saying I absolutely loved this film. I finally have a movie in 2025 that I'm head over heels over, and it's ironically a Valentine's Day themed movie. Just a blast, man. So the story is about this Valentine's Day killer who's been on the loose for the past 2 years, and every Valentine's Day he shows up killing couples. So that's the portion about the killer. But to get to the main characters played by Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding, they are a young man and woman who meet up for a date, and as you can imagine, it goes wrong when the heart-eye killer puts his sets on them. So first of all, I think that this is a good old 2000 style feeling slasher, but the best thing about the movie is they literally fused the slasher genre, like I mentioned, in a rom-com, because it's legitimately both of those, and I love that they did that. And the rom-com part is done so well that it makes you care about Olivia and Mason's characters. You see the beginning stages of them, and they kind of start going through this journey themselves as they're running from this killer. And it just makes for a very heartwarming, feel-good type of vibe with them two, but they somehow are able to also put an intense slasher in there. It just works. It's like something I've never seen. Like, this is a movie that is a really good example of reinventing the wheel by keeping things fresh. You know, you're not making something completely different, but we're just adding something to it to change it. And I feel like this film has definitely created its own lane, and we possibly could see more movies like this. This is a rom-com slasher, legit. All of those things. It's got the romance between Mason and Olivia, which I think was handled excellently well. Those two performances are really great, and it feels genuine. Like, I could really see them being together in real life. They just come off that way. And especially Mason, he is such a charismatic guy, and he just really does that good guy vibe really, really well. As you've seen him in Scream, and he even had a little cameo, not even a cameo, he was a character in Y2K, and he kind of was playing a feel-good guy too, and it carries over here even more as he is one of the lead actors in the dating pool. And I feel like Olivia Holt is this young woman who is trying to find herself in her own life journey. So she has this kind of hardened walls up that you can see play out on whatever she does, and as the movie continues, you see the walls slowly come down, and it's because of Mason's character. They did an excellent job. So with them, you have the romance there, and the movie's also funny as hell. The director for this also did Werewolves Within and I believe Scare Me, both of which are horror comedies, and they are funny, and this is no different. I found myself laughing the entire time. Like, there is a scene in the van when Olivia and Mason are talking, and they're having this great conversation that is really depth-filled, and you get an understanding of both characters in this scene, but then there's something else going on that makes it so hilarious. It doesn't undo what's going on, because that's the funny thing about the movie. It's very funny, it's very heartwarming, but it's slasher feel. Like, all of these genres play out in, you know, the same scene, and it doesn't take away. Like, usually comedics can undercut a lot depending on how it is, but they found a way to make it all work. And I think it's just excellent how they married all of these concepts. And so to go into the slasher, the Hard Eyes killer here is not to be played with. This dude is like Ghostface in Scream 5 and 6, and even takes it up another level. I didn't expect him to be this brutal, this crazy. And again, I just talked about being heartwarming and funny, but it does not lack on the violence and the gore. It's ramped up to insane levels, I feel like, to balance out all of those warm and comedic moments, because this guy does not fuck around. Woo! I legit jumped at a few scenes because of the heart killer and the way that they use the sound design and the tension to really get you in the seats of these characters that he's hunting down. Is done beautifully. And not to mention, the design of the killer is great. It's a fantastic mask. Like, when you have a slasher film, One of the ways to instantly make it, solid is if you have a great costume. And here, that mask being what it was, it's kind of like this leather, almost BDS mask, or BDM, I forgot what it was, but some freak ass shit with the leather. And then the eyes light up red when necessary, and it's, it just is a very, very cool aesthetic. And the outfit is pretty regular, but still, when you put that mask on top of it, there you go, you have a great costume. And what I love about this killer is he has a number of different weapons to choose from, so you don't know what he's gonna do, and it makes him even more scary as a slasher villain, because you don't know if he's gonna slash you with this big ass machete that he has. You don't know if he's gonna throw something else at you. It's just, I don't want to spoil anything, but I just think that the weapons collection here was on some like Batman type shit, but just in a horror dimension, almost like Deathstroke. Almost is how I really feel about it. This is definitely a new classic for me, and I'm gonna watch this every year. I pray that we get a steelbook, because this movie deserves a steelbook. There are so many different artistic shots in the film that could be used for some cover art, and I've seen the posters and they're all good. Please, please, physical media guys, give us a steelbook that is great, because damn, this deserves it. This is a new classic, and they could easily make a number of these because of the concept. And to get back to the killer, I love when the reveal happened, what the concept actually was. It's something that you've seen before, but it doubles down on the concept and kind of adds a little bit something different to it to make it fresh, and I really, really enjoyed it. And there are a bunch of homages in this film to rom-coms themselves and other horror films. The whole third act reminded me of Urban Legend, which I thought was great. I was like, this is some 2000 shit, and it just all works so well. I'm so excited about having this movie, because Valentine's Day to me has been a holiday that really hasn't been, in the black and better term, exploited enough in the horror genre, because I feel like that holiday is perfect for slashers. I think it's just as perfect as Christmas and Halloween when it comes to making a slasher type film. I think it's just because love always brings the crazy out in people, so you could see it turning somebody crazy or whatever it may have you, kind of like Valentine. So if you've seen Valentine from 2000, it's a slasher movie that takes place on Valentine's Day. The whole movie really is about the characters that you're with going on dates and trying to find love, and I think that they do that really well, but it doesn't focus on that enough, so you kind of forget that that's the point of the whole movie, honestly. Whereas this one kind of makes the romance and the comedic part front and center, but it's done in such a campy way that that all of the things that are happening that are goofy or silly, you're made known that this is trying to do this, but it all also wraps it up with a pretty bow at the end of the movie to let you know that this is, again, part of the process and the plan. Because one thing about campiness is when you don't have the weight of the story to the point where things are serious to let us know that all of the campiness was intentional, it can kind of get lost, and the movie could be seen as just being a silly ass movie that was made bad, but it's just entertaining. Whereas here, all of the choices are handpicked and they're happening, and the performances, the writing, the way the story unfolds, it all works, and you can see how intentional everything was. And man, I absolutely love this film. I've been talking for 10 minutes, so I'm going to shut up right now, but I urge you, if you are a fan of slashers and you're looking for some Valentine's Day horror and you have a significant other or you're dating, this is a perfect movie for that. Me and my wife enjoyed the hell out of this film, and it just gave us those early 2000s horror film vibes in today's time, and it just absolutely works. It's beautifully shot. There are a lot of great imagery. The camera movement works. There's some really good choreography. The drive-in theater scene is fantastic. The score is great. Like, it literally feels like something from the 2000s and the late 90s, almost Scream-esque, if you will. They even have a little piece of score that's ripped straight from Valentine that I would appreciate it, because I love that movie so much. The sound design is phenomenal when it comes to the killer, and the performances by Mason and Olivia, again, make this movie what it is. It's equally romantic, it's equally funny, and just overall witty and clever. So I was blown away by this film. I wasn't expecting it to be this well put together. I knew it was gonna look good, I was gonna be entertained because I love slashers, but it is put together really, really well, man. So do yourself a favor and go see this if you're into these type of films, and we have a new classic on our hands. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the movie, whether you rank it for 2025, and for me this is #1 right here. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, thank you, and until next time, peace. RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.